So let's just so I want us to keep it interactive here. Ask questions, challenge ideas, and most importantly, have fun learning.
Good morning or good afternoon, actually.
Hi, Glenn. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm very good. So we'll be starting in about 9 minutes.
Perfect.
Um, Over to you, Frida.
I just wanted to make sure everything was all set and everything else. And then for some reason, the first link it errored, but when I clicked on the set that one, it worked. It must be something with the way when it come through
Ah,
the LinkedIn.
oh, all right.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Daniel.
How are you doing today?
Hi, I am doing really good. How is everyone? Today is a really good day. The battle, the battle lines are set, right?
That's
So,
right.
right, the battle lines are set. Hello, everyone here. Hello, Gift. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, John. Hi, Michaela. Hello, Adewumi. Okay, hello everyone that is joining. So we would begin in the next 8 minutes, right? So feel free to introduce yourself in the comment section, what you do in cybersecurity and everything. So the comment section is open, right? It's open. The Q&A, yeah, the Q&A box is open. Just go to the chat box and drop your name and what you do in cybersecurity. Let want to get to know you. So yeah. So I think yeah. So waiting for you guys. So to would I say ease off the tension, we'll just be playing soft music in the background. So right, yeah. I don't know if is my music loud enough? I don't know.
I can't hear it.
Okay. Can you hear it?
No.
Can you hear it? You can't.
Now I can.
Frida,
Daniel.
Frida,
Okay.
I will try playing some music from here.
Okay. You want to
Hold
try
on.
from your end?
Yeah.
Are you gonna try from your end, Daniel? Okay. Okay, so Daniel going to play music. While we wait for Daniel, okay, I think I've introduced Gifts, Priscilla, John, Chibuzo. Welcome everyone. Esther, welcome to the webinar. So we'll begin in the next 6 minutes, right? So, I said before, go to the chat box, introduce yourself, your name, your country. How did I forget that? Your country, your name, and what you do in cybersecurity. Well, we're represented here, right? And as you know, we have Glenn and we have Daniel getting set for the battle in the next few minutes. So while we wait for that, introduce yourselves, get to know each other in the chat box. We begin in the next 5 minutes, right? So yeah. Okay, sorry for that intermission. Okay, yeah. So as I said before, in the next 3 minutes we would begin. Okay, someone has already introduced himself in the group chat. Chibuzo from Nigeria, and he's not into cybersecurity, but into adversarial attacks on large language models. Okay, welcome Chibuzo. Welcome Chibuzo. I think you will learn a thing or two here. In the data space. You're entering into data security. So I mean, everything is all security, right? So I mean, see, Glenn is even in agreement with me. So yeah, welcome. So I said before, introduce yourself in the chat box. Don't be shy. Someone has already started, so it will only be nice if you continue to introduce yourself there. I said before, I'm Frida. I will be the anchor for today's event. We have Glenn, we have Daniel, and in the next 3 minutes we would begin. So yeah, going on you guys.
I think that overhead light does a little bit too much. Here you go, Daniel.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got the employees. Everybody got some jackets the other day.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that jacket is so cool, Glenn.
Thank you.
Red team. You guys are in the red team. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Love it. It's really nice.
Yeah, I wound up getting it about a month ago, and then my employees liked it, so we just got them some of the jackets as well. Leah got hers for I think she's been now over 2 months, actually I think more than that, as the Hacker of the Week award. So one of my employees, she's doing fantastic. So the Hacker
Yeah.
of the Week gets to keep a special coin with them as long as they're Hacker of the Week. And seeing she's been on it that long, she wound up getting a jacket herself. So
That's nice. That's so nice. Really nice. Jacket is really pretty. Okay. Okay, guys. So it's officially 4:10, right? And finally, after the long awaited wait, the battle is about to begin. Everyone from whatever country you're watching from, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's the US, Canada, whatever country, since you guys don't want to indicate, you guys should indicate in the chat box below. I want to confirm before I continue. Can you hear me clearly?
I can.
You can hear me? Okay, sorry. Okay, I had a little network break there. Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. It's a battle. Well, so you would see how the battle would unwrap. I don't want to spoil the details for you. But yeah, welcome to today's webinar with Glenn and Daniel. Glenn's introduction will come soon. So before I continue, I said before, there's still time for you to introduce yourself in the comment section. Okay, hello Jerry K from Nigeria. Welcome. What space security are you into? Welcome, Jerry K. And before I continue again, my name is Frida. I will be the anchor for today's event, right? It's going to be a spectacular one. and you all are going to love and get a lot of insight from today's event. So before I continue, we are well represented. Before I continue, we're well represented in this group. As you all know, it's not just one person that runs this entire community, right? Aside from Daniel and I, we have two other strong women here. We have Priscilla, she is the lead and conversion manager, and we have Michaela, she's the community manager. So can you guys indicate yourself so everyone will know who you are? They're on the call now, so they'll speak, right, Daniel? Yeah, they would say a word or two. So Michaela and Priscilla. Okay, Priscilla. Welcome, Gold from Nigeria. Welcome, Esther. Esther is interested in cybersecurity, but don't worry, you'll figure out where you want to be very soon. That's why you're here. Don't worry. You might even end up falling in love with red and blue. Don't worry, you'll find out what you want to do in cybersecurity. That's why our community is here. So, yeah, Priscilla, introduce yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. Hi Glenn.
Hello.
I'm Priscilla. I'm really not into cybersecurity, but yeah, I just I manage the community. So nice to meet everyone here. I just want to let everyone know that today is going to be a whole lot, and there's going to be a lot to take back. So please let's keep today interactive, ask questions, right? Challenge ideas, and really have fun learning. So thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you so much. You heard her. Challenge ideas, have fun. It's going to be a beautiful event. And Michaela, also introduce yourself. Michaela is our community manager, so she will introduce herself shortly and say a word or two. Michaela.
Hi everyone, my name is Michaela and I'm the community manager. I'm so glad you're here. I know this is going to be a very interactive time. Thank you, Glenn, for being here. I'm so happy to be here too.
Okay. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. So now, without any further ado, I would give the mic over to Daniel for the opening remark. So Daniel, over to you.
All right. Give me a minute. I want to turn off this music. Um, all right. All right. So yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting session hosted by our lovely community. For those joining us for the very first time, we are a thriving community dedicated to learning, collaboration, and growth in cybersecurity. Every month, we invite industry experts to share their insights, helping us to bridge the gap between knowledge and real-world applications. If you aren't part of the community yet, don't worry, the link will be shared in the chat and we'd love to have you on board. Now, today's session is all about the red team versus the blue team, a battle of offense versus defense. Many of you might be thinking, wait, is this a showdown between me and our guest Glenn? No, well, not just yet. Or maybe one day, who knows? But in all seriousness, understanding both perspectives, how attackers think and how defenders respond, is critical in cybersecurity. And today, we are in for an insightful and engaging discussion. So, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be an amazing ride. Let's dive in.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for that wonderful charge into today's event. So now, the battle is about to begin. But before our main session, I would love to introduce the man behind the screen. As you all know, you've seen him on the posters, you've seen him there, and he's no other but Glenn Selby. He's a leader in technology and he's a leader in cybersecurity. It's an honor to introduce him. He's a seasoned technology executive, cybersecurity expert, and operations leader with a wealth of experience in the tech industry. He's currently the Chief Operations Officer at Tech Squad Inc., where he drives innovation in IT services, network security, and digital infrastructure. With a career spanning decades, he has also served as the Director of Operation at xdig.com Enterprises, playing a pivotal role in strategic growth and operational excellence. And beyond his corporate leadership, he's a renowned cybersecurity professional, ranked in the top 5, not 1, not 10, not 20, top 5 on the Hack the Box, holding the #1 spot in the USA. His expertise in search engine optimization, IT service management, and digital security has made him a sought-after consultant and mentor. With a master's degree from MIT and a passion for knowledge sharing, he has trained individuals and teams in self-defense, IT security, and digital strategy. His diverse background, spanning from network engineering to even martial arts instructions, show his dedication to both professional and personal development. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, everyone all around, please join me in welcoming our guest, Gleen. Woo, virtual claps, everyone, virtual claps. You're clapping emoji, guys. You're clapping emoji, guys.
Thank
virtual
you.
claps. So yeah, over to you. Let the battle begin. Martial art battle. Love it.
Well, I'm very honored to be here today, and thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Frida, and everybody. I have been doing this for a little bit of time. I've been involved with computers, hacking, ethical hacking, cybersecurity, and technology in general for many, many years. I actually started my first business when I was still in high school, because I had the contract to wire my high school and put the first networks together. That was all the way back in the 1984. But I started working and hacking on TRS-80s and K-Pros. It's probably well beyond before you guys. Back in the days, hacking could consist of probably less than 100 bits of code that you really needed to work on, and command lines. But it's come a long ways. I am still involved with it. I am an IT professional. That is what I do for my daily living. I do everything from general network, whatever level 3 type systems come up. I also oversee the purple team, which is the blue and the red team over here at Tech Squad. We've been doing this for quite a while. I've also been in the military, had some experiences there. That's where I learned to red team as well. And I've also had the honor of doing that for government contract work and things of that nature. I am usually a physical security specialist, which means my main job is, when I'm usually red team, is getting in the door, whether it be through social engineering, which is still the easiest way, and things of that nature. So, this is kind of new to me, so I will do the best I can. I'm not used to doing talks. Actually, this is very brand new to me. You guys are my first webinar. I've only done one other YouTube talk before that with a friend of mine, which I believe will be out here also in another couple months. But yeah, basically that's a quick summary of over 40 years of technology and tech that I've been doing. I am A+ certified, CCNA, CCNE from way back in the day, Microsoft certified engineer. I'm intelligence analyst, qualified level 1 and level 2, and a few other things. I've got a bunch of certs and need to always work on more.
Sorry, Gleen, you're muted. Your mic is muted.
Yeah. That's weird. It just said the host bit of. All right. I don't know where we muted at. What? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. How much was muted?
No,
It's
we
just a
heard
very short portion.
just a very short portion. Yeah.
No problem. Basically, like I said, it is an honor to be here, and I'm going to be willing to help answer any questions. and go through as much as I can with any of you guys. So if you do have questions, please go ahead and ask. I have noticed a couple people in the chats mentioning a few things. The person that does not know what they want to do in cybersecurity right now, you do not have to commit to that to tomorrow, to the next day. Cybersecurity is always evolving. Everything from technicians are needed in IT. And then once you get into cybersecurity, there are so many different fields. You have your blue team, which I firmly believe are some of the smartest people there are on the planet. Blue teamers. They are absolutely wonders with forensics and coding and things of that nature. You have OSINT work that you can always get into. You have the red teams, which we act as the physical attackers, and we find the vulnerabilities in coding, misconfigurations, things of that nature. So don't worry if you're not sure what you want to do at this moment. When I first got going after even having my business, I decided I really didn't want to do computers when I was younger. I didn't want to sit behind a desk all the time. That's one main reason why I joined the military. After a while, you find out it's not so bad, and there are so many different avenues that you can get into with technology and cybersecurity. And the world's your oyster, realistically. Just always make good decisions and keep challenging yourself. That's a big part.
So Glenn, I believe you have a slide, right? I don't know if you'd be sharing that. You have your.
I thought she sent them to you. I thought the moderator was putting them up there. I didn't. I thought it was sent over.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Hold on. Maybe I can do something with that. Pull this up off the network. All right. Let's see if we can't do this here. All right. I should be sharing now. All right. We're already going through who I am and my background. Like I said, I've done it from being in the IT field all the way through. So I've many different experiences that I bring in. In my company, I firmly believe that everybody should have at least an A+ certification. Even if cybersecurity is what you're going into, that's just for me. I believe strongly that the more you know about the technology you're going to be working on, the better off you can be, especially if you want to be a red teamer. If you want to be a red teamer, you need to know some basic networking, network wiring, and things of that. It will come up all the time. So it's just one of those things that's excellent to get going on. We're going to go over today a little bit about red teaming versus blue teaming. I am much, much older than all of you. You guys are probably closer to most of my youngest age. So like I said, I have been doing this a long time, but in the beginning, it's kind of like red team, blue team. How to easily define that? I'm sure everybody knows that red teaming in cybersecurity means that you're a pen tester. Actually, red teaming means a little more than that. There's pen testing, there's that avenue. It all gets clumped in the red teaming. Red teaming, I usually involve means you do physical engagements. Doesn't always have to be. That's just the way I usually go through it. Blue team, they're the defenders. They're the people that are going to try and stop the attacks. Red teamers, we only have to be correct one time to get into a system. You have to find that one flaw, that one misconfiguration, that one vulnerability that we can work on to get in. Blue teamers have to constantly be on the alert, looking out for issues and problems and stopping the attackers. They need to find and patch vulnerable codes, all that. Blue teaming, you are going to learn a lot of log analysis. If you enjoy log analysis, blue teaming is the way to go. Basically today, we're going to go over all those issues. If you have any questions, of course, we'll be going through those as well. Red team, we use offensive tactics to simulate attacks on systems. We don't always know what we're going to find. Sometimes, depending upon the engagements with clients, they'll give us a list of go, no go areas. So no go areas are what we call out of scope when we're testing. But when you're actually a hacker, the hackers we go against, they basically do anything they want. But if you are involved in cybersecurity and going to be doing a pen test or any red teaming work, follow closely to your out of scope areas. If something's out of scope, there is no question about it. You don't touch it. You don't do it. It would be terrible for you to accidentally bring down a major company or in their network, or even a minor company in their network, just because you were trying to exploit a vulnerability and took down everything. And it can happen. That's why you have to be very careful with what you're doing. Blue teamers, like I said, you're the defensive people. You're going to work on detecting, countering, and prevent threats, and also prevent escalating threats. Sometimes a hacker gets into your system. Blue teamers don't always want to let that hacker go, because sometimes it's better if you're monitoring them to know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes you can isolate them into a honeypot and different things, or just let them in the system, and so you know what they're trying to go after, so then you can patch it. There's a lot of different things depending upon what your company's set up for. But once again, basically, it's the good guys versus the bad guys when you're doing red team versus blue team. You're simulating that. So if you ever want to act as the bad actor, that's the way to go, is doing red team. Let's see. And that's what we're going over. Different offensive tactics to exploit the vulnerabilities for red teams, blue teams, defensive strategies. That is basically the nuts and bolts of red team versus blue team, for very simplified manners. A lot of times now you'll also hear of purple teams. All that means is that you have red teamers and blue teamers actually working together on the same team. And we find it's one of the quickest and easiest ways for all of the people together to find vulnerabilities and get them patched. If you're working side by side, a red teamer is exploiting and doing pen tests and finding the problems and turning them immediately into a blue teamer who right there is working to fix the problems. That's one of the best ways I find to be proactive, is having a purple team. Red teamers. Here is one of the biggest things I'm going to tell anybody. If you have a creative mindset and you can think out of the box, you have the abilities to be a red teamer. That is one of the main things. You cannot limit your thinking. You don't even want to think that there is a box, because basically there are situations you're going to run into that you're going to believe that is impossible. My network's foolproof. Everything is blocked. Nothing is foolproof. Nothing is 100%. Things are always changing. Every time you run an update on that network, it could be allowing a vulnerability. So you need to have very good creative thinking and be able to adapt to situations as a red teamer. We're talking about ethical hacking here also, people. There's a lot of people in every group and every university, uh, almost anywheres. They will think about going to the black hat route. Be very careful with that. You may learn to regret it. Everybody does things when they're younger that isn't smart. Listen, I had my hand slapped when I was about 13 years old, and that was for basically going into a Air Force intelligence network system and taking a look around. Didn't do any damage, so I didn't get in trouble realistically. And I actually showed them the exploit that I used to actually get into their systems. That was one of the first times I actually did an official hacking and was turned that in. So you're going to find a lot of different tools out there nowadays. Some of the basics, like I've listed on the slide there, is Metasploit. It's a huge one to be able to learn, but do not handicap yourself by only being able to hack with Metasploit. You will have issues if you do that. Burp Suite, I tell you what, Burp Suite and I do not always get along, but it is a fantastic program. And part of the reason why Burp Suite and I don't get along is because I actually need more training on it since they've made some adjustments to it. But Burp Suite, man, you can get so much information from that. It's incredible. Wireshark, another one, just opening up and watching and monitoring traffic with your Wireshark. Those are huge ones. Those are some of the main tools. The biggest main tool, which didn't get listed there, I always tell every red teamer, as well as blue teamers, enumeration is the key. Nmap is going to be your default go-to tool for everything. If you have not run an Nmap, a Rust scan, something of the Nmap calibers to check on a network before you started hacking, you've already defeated yourself. Enumerate when you begin, enumerate once you get into a system, enumerate. I cannot tell you that enough to keep enumerating. I am lucky enough to have been ranked and done very well in competitions on Hack the Box and other things. One of the main things is I am not the fastest hacker, but I do enumerate constantly. And I run multiple scans on multiple devices while I'm hacking, before I'm hacking. Also doing recon work. If you're actually doing a test against a company, recon, get there, go and do some OSINT work. Delve into it a little bit. Find out from Facebook about the company. Find out about the employees. You may just find some weak spots just by doing that, so that way you can get into systems. Challenges, staying ahead of evolving threats. Yeah, evolving threat for a red teamer, we are threatened by antivirus systems, detection systems, things that's our threats. We need to sneak by those. So you're going to have to learn ways to bypass those systems. Do not rush into it. Don't set yourself a time limit. I hear this, so many people do it, whether it be on CTFs or even on pen test. Oh, I'm giving myself an hour to get into there. Don't do that to yourself. You want to give yourself plenty of time, go slow, especially if you're doing a pen test or doing any work in cybersecurity for a client. Do not rush it. They're paying the bill. Don't rush through so you possibly miss things. That will come back to haunt you. Your reputation is everything when you're doing red team and blue team work. If somebody finds out that you only do, half of the job, people are going to know about it. And especially if a hacker winds up then getting in another way that you missed. So you have to be very, very careful of that. Why is it rewarding? I tell you what, in the end, as a red teamer, while we may play the part of the bad guy most of the time, or we're delving into everything, we're all about making the network stronger and better for other people. We turn that information to the blue teamers. The blue teamers take that information then and they repair vulnerable sections, whether it be code, misconfigurations, old development APIs that are still accidentally left open. There's a number of things. All right. Main reason why you're all here is you're all getting into cybersecurity. You guys are going, whether you go through the university route, which I strongly suggest. I'm a firm believer that if you can dedicate your time to learning through a university, a college, a program like that, you are showing to an employer that you want to excel. I am not saying that you have to have a degree from a university or a college. I just find it very beneficial. Nowadays, certifications is one of the biggest things for you guys. Whether it be CompTIA, which has some excellent things from the beginning programs of an A+ program, network security, security plus. Over here for the government, if you want to do government work, everybody needs to have a CompTIA security plus or higher. There's also other certifications, but that's just for government work. Nowadays, there are so many different certification programs. You have yourself OffSec, which everybody wants to have an OffSec certification. Why? They're fantastic. Is it needed? I'm not really going to get into that. It's for you guys to address. I'm not a firm believer that I believe that OffSec costs too much. Any program that winds up costing you thousands of dollars for a certification and it's not a university, I have a little bit of a problem with it. There are also alternatives out there that you can look into. Even nowadays, Hack the Box has its own certification programs, and they are fantastic. Websites, books, things like a friend of mine, InfoSec Pat. He has a YouTube channel. I know Daniel's been on and watched before and everything else. To John Haymond, who is absolutely fantastic with his, if you want to glean some YouTube knowledge, you will never waste any of your time with John Haymond. David Bumble's another one, but those are some fantastic people for the world of tech and defense, and they cover everything from red team to blue team on through it. Books, I mean, you guys know there's so many different books out there. Whatever you're comfortable with. That's what your learning should come down to when you're getting into cybersecurity. You need to find the methodology that works best for you. What is the best method of your learning? Whether it be from a book, whether it be from an academy setting like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box or Udemy, or whatever. Some people use videos, some people like to read. You have to find what works for you. There's nothing the matter with any single method as long as you can get knowledge from it. I'm a firm believer that as long as you're gaining knowledge, you are achieving the next step to the next level. And sometimes that knowledge is going to come from mistakes. That is okay. This is why we're going to go over doing labs and testing and working on itself. Your VMs, it's funny. I see some people there, oh my goodness, my VM crashed and I lost all this work. Well, first of all, your VMs, if they're not your daily driver, that's what they're there for. You can crash them, run snapshots, back up. It's okay. But do yourself a favor and build yourself a lab, even if that lab is on your computer through multiple VMs. Meaning you can have on your computer, you could be running a server on there to interact with a couple of other computers, and then you can isolate that network so it's not touching yours. It's only an internal network, and then you can do testing and simulate attacks, bring in malware, all that, so it's safe. Never experiment on your main systems that should be known with anything else. Always use a VM. Hands-on experience. I'm a big one for CTFs. A lot of people say that CTFs are not, they're not real. Well, here's the situation. There are different levels of CTFs and things. You have Try Hack Me. Try Hack Me works, I mean, for learning capabilities. it goes through the basics. If you are a beginner or even want a refresher or just a different view, Try Hack Me has best things on a platform for you to go through. And there's a lot of stuff on there. You do not have to have paid memberships for Try Hack Me or Hack the Box. I hear all the time, oh, I don't have the money to spend. They have free entrance on those. Utilize the free material. Go through it. Hack the Box is a little step up. It's a little tougher. And then if you do master Hack the Box, you have Vuln Labs. There are different platforms and CTFs. Right now, the team I'm on, we are doing a weekend long for sites called Cyber Apocalypse on Hack the Box, besides our normal Hack the Box activities. The reason why you're doing CTFs is so you can learn about finding vulnerabilities and finding different ways to gain your experience. I'm not saying that going to CTFs is going to get you a job, but I will say that most people are going to look at doing a CTF and completing them as experience. If they're not accepting CTF as an experience, I don't agree with that, because you are working most of the time. We're going to go with Hack the Box right now. Say a machine that you're going to have to find the vulnerabilities. Then you're going to have to find the exploits and work the exploits. That's going to give you the knowledge you need to further go along. You may wind up then seeing that out in the real world, and you'll already have the experience for it. So hands-on experience can be including in the CTFs, Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, any of those things. Any way you can learn. If you want to do just your own internal labs, once again, you're basically doing your own CTFs, your own challenges. But you are constantly working. Most CTFs you will find are actually harder than your pen test, red teaming, your vulnerability tests. They're actually harder. So when people say, oh, well, CTFs are just a game, it's not real world, they're 100% wrong. I will tell you from a real world aspect, there are times that I wish that the CTFs were a little more real world, because having to do multiple pivots and changes in a CTF and combining exploits is something that you don't always have to do, and most of the time you don't have to do in the real world. But you now have the experience of how to take care of that. So it's a fantastic tool for yourselves to do that. And seeing that there's free access, that is the way. Get yourself on there. And if you ever want to get into actual CTF competitions, you can look up my team, ISP 1337 Hackers. I do it with InfoSec Pat and myself. We sponsor a team, and we welcome everybody at all levels. So you are always more than welcome to come and join in and see if it's something that you'd like to do. But it is great experience for yourselves. Okay. Different pathways to succeed in cybersecurity. Basically, you're going to first have to kind of figure out, do you want to go the red team or the blue team route? Again, you do not have to commit and say, oh, I'm only a red teamer or I'm only a blue teamer. Some people do that. You can be a purple teamer. When you are learned both sides, you can do everything from incident response, data forensics. The world's your oyster. So learn as much as you can. Don't ever say, oh, I'm a red teamer. I don't really want to learn log analysis. You are only handicapping yourself. When you turn away knowledge, you wind up hurting yourself. So don't do that. Please always try new things. You may find that something you thought you were going to love, you hate, and some stuff that you love, you hate, you're going to love. It's just that it does happen. Quite obvious that I did not really want to keep going in technology and then cybersecurity, but it always draws me back in. And you know what? I love it. I love puzzles. So anytime that my mind has to be working on a puzzle, whether it be figuring out an exploit, looking for vulnerabilities, OSINT investigations, that it's fantastic. Okay, I guess the best way to do it, and what I'm most used to, is going by questions. If anybody has any questions, we can go through those as well. I know we're gonna have a time coming up for that. But
Yeah. All right. Glenn, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. This was very exciting one, and I learned a lot personally. So, from the registration, we have some questions, right? So I'll just be saying some of them, and we'll have an opportunity to take some on-site questions. So if you have questions, start jotting them down. All right. So the first question here is what are the basics of cybersecurity, and what are the stepping stones to becoming a good ethical hacker? What are the basics of cybersecurity, and what are the stepping stones to become a good ethical hacker?
Um, well, becoming a good hacker is basically a lot of time and learning to code. I here's the thing. You're going to hear discussions when you're on YouTube and possibly even in your classrooms that somebody may say, "Well, you don't need to code to be a hacker." No, you do not. But if you can understand the code and make your own code and write things, you're going to go a lot further. It's a lot easier if you have coding basics, whether it be Python, Rust, Go, C++, M, coding's going to help. Those are some stepstones to utilize. Certificates, that's another way. You can go from different certificate programs, and you can then, gain more knowledge on different things. Those are the ways you want to just slowly go in. I'm a firm believer getting some IT background. I run an MSP, so that's our main thing. Is we're a managed service provider, so we do technical work. But everybody that is on my red team and my purple team, they're all techs first. That's just the way we've brought them through. And I'm going to even say for myself, I was a tech long before because I didn't even know what a hacker really was. Way back in the start, it was a cool term. It's something that we did. Now you can, do a lot with it, and you can get a job with it, which makes it awesome. If you like puzzles, like I said, once again, if you like puzzles, that's the way to go. But to get through cybersecurity, those are going to be some of your main stepstones. Is just constantly working knowledge, constantly trying something new, whether it be a new exploit or that you just found out a new vulnerability. Learn about it, study about them. Any CVE, and I'm sure everybody here knows what CVEs are. Any CVE that is over an 8, you probably should take a look at, because believe it or not, it probably will show up if you're going to be getting into this world, whether you're being a red teamer, so that way you can use that exploit, or a blue teamer, so that you need to patch and prevent that exploit. Anything that's an 8 and above, you definitely should take a look at. I mean, most people are going to say you should look at them all, but be realistically, I think there's on the average of 40 some odd CVEs added per day. Last I knew, it gets a little hard to follow them all. But
Wow, interesting. All right. So, a very funny question here, but person says, what is the salary range like for a pen tester in the US? The salary range.
I'm sorry, it kept logging out, backing out.
All right. So the question is, what is the salary range? The salary
Salary.
range.
Salary
Yeah.
range is going in the United States is going to really depend on the area you're living in. My business is in South Georgia. It is not a high income area. So it's what my techs here is going to make is going to be a little bit less. But most techs, I'm going to say the average starting is for a tech about $45,000 a year and up. Cybersecurity, you're probably looking at about $55,000 a year and up, especially if you're an apprentice. And so that's going to be top ranges to start with. as, getting in for an apprenticeship. Salaries though can go to the extent of, I know a couple of bug bounty hunters that are working for companies, their base salary is $120,000, plus they get 15% of any money the company makes off of bug bounties that they get. And then you can go your own route, just becoming your own bug bounty hunter. You'll find quickly, though, realistically, you need to have some insurance and other business expenses, but you can do very well for yourself in that way as well. But salary ranges can go anywhere from about $40,000 on up to about $140,000 to $150,000, no problem. Especially if you're going to do physical red teaming work, usually those amounts will be right around $120,000 to $150,000 a year.
All right, thank you, Glenn, for that. All right, so another question, which is more personal to you, right? Person says, what other field would you have considered if not practicing cybersecurity? What other field would you have?
Well, like I said, I do regular IT work. I love being a network sysadmin. It's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of knowledge gained for things. So, I mean, if I wasn't doing this, I mean, I've done quite a few different things. I love martial arts. I love self-defense and helping people. I've trained people as an instructor. I've been a police officer. Found it was not I thought it was going to be a job I wanted, but it really wasn't for me. I really enjoy being a tech. That's one of those things. I will say I consider myself a tech before a hacker. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but and then if I could do none of that, oh geez. I just want to be a coder. I'm not big on playing video games. Never has been my thing. I mean, yeah, did I have an Atari when I grew up? Yeah. It was never my thing. I love coding. Coding is kind of like my game. Hacking is my game. So doing things other than that, web design, believe it or not, web design, I find it relaxing. Brings out your creative side. I can relax, there's just something to me, web design is fun, but basically almost everything I do is going to be tech related because it's just what I love to do.
That's awesome. All right. So someone says, I just finished my master's in cybersecurity. How can I secure my first job?
Oh, congratulations, first of all, getting your master's. That is an awesome step for anybody. Your first step, now that you've done that, is you're going to start playing the game. Get on LinkedIn. Make sure you're on LinkedIn. Let people know about yourself, your qualifications. Volunteerism. You can volunteer. If you don't have a lot of experience, you can volunteer. And I know Daniel, you've heard me talk about this before with Patrick, everything else. You can volunteer your time for experience. You can go to a church, a nonprofit organization, things of that nature. I have my degree in cybersecurity. I would like to volunteer to do a network vulnerability test. I would like to, make sure your firewalls are all patched up, this and that. That is a great way to get in the door so you can get some experience for things. Please remember this. Don't feel insulted if you're volunteering, if you're going to have somebody over your shoulder. This happens. It's quite normal. They don't know your experience level either, so they may have somebody watching you, what you're doing. Don't be insulted by it. It's actually a good thing. But volunteering is an excellent thing. Internships, whether it be free or paid, it's an excellent way to get yourself in the door. I'm not a big fan of free internships. I think everybody's time is worth something. And if we're going to utilize an intern, I pay my interns. I'm not saying you're going to have a huge salary. I think our interns start at $11.50, $12 an hour, or something like that. So you're basically starting off on the bottom floor. But there again, you can intern, you can get knowledge. Let them know that you want to learn things. and get out there and do that. So volunteering, doing that, getting yourself on LinkedIn, networking. Nowadays, it is all about networking. Letting people know about you, so then when somebody goes for a company goes and looks at you, they can look at your LinkedIn profile. They can see what you've done. If you've got a GitHub page and you've worked on exploits, you've found, CVEs, post those up, put them in there. Let them know that you have the mindset and the talent to do that work. Do not be afraid to also showcase your CTF capabilities. I will say this. I thought in the beginning that posting what I did on CTFs was, it was just more or less for me. It was going to be for fun. I have actually had so many job opportunities come to me because they're like, wait a minute, you're doing all this stuff. How about taking a look at our company? What can you do for us? And it is another avenue. So don't be afraid to post that, you did a hack the box and you were able to root it and finalize that system. That is a skill. So all of those things are what you want to start out with. But now that you've got your degree, whether it be an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, going for your CPhil, your PhD, all of those, you still need to get time in. Experience is going to be the main thing. And I know that's one of the hardest things when you first start out is getting the experience. People I hear all the time, how can I get experience when I'm just starting? These are the avenues. Don't be afraid to volunteer your time. Go out there, go to organizations and volunteer your time. You can let them know you're trying to get experience and that you just want to do the jobs. Going through, you will find, I'll say this, for most nonprofits, for some strange reason, whenever we volunteer, and we do it as a business, we volunteer our time to go to nonprofits, because then what I do is I take my team and I put them to work and get them experience. So it's fantastic. But a lot of nonprofits, they do not have the equipment and they have not been configured. I have never, not one time, gone into a nonprofit and found like, oh my goodness, how have they not been breached? So you go through there, put your time in, set their firewalls up correctly. Here again, if you don't know how to configure a firewall, this is basic technology. You go through the A+ exam. If you don't want to get the A+ exam, you can still go through the course. Udemy, I think you can buy the course for $9.99 when it goes on sale during the course. It's what one of my employees told me that a while back. We offer Udemy to all the employees for constant learning. It's one of the packages. I strongly believe in constantly getting my employees to learn new skills. But that is one of the ways you guys can do it, getting that experience. And if you're stuck, go to mentors. There are plenty on LinkedIn. You've got good friends of mine. You've got InfoSec Pat. You've got Venom, which is Paul Natal. They're all on my team. John Heyman, things of that. Network Chuck. You want to talk about a fantastic person to simply explain things. And he does have a mentoring program as well. Every one of those people has a mentoring program. Now, I know John Heyman, because of his popularity and everything else, he's not doing one-on-one mentors that I believe he's had to stop that, but he still does group mentorship programs. And he is another one's fantastic. But Network Chuck, he has got a mentoring program. Matter of fact, you know what? I think I joined one of his programs about 2 years ago. And the knowledge you can gain, and people are like, oh, well, you're an old hat to that. Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's the way you can have something explained to you that it can further your ability to be able to understand. I know here's a perfect example, folks. And using AI, we have a modified private AI that we've been working with and everything else. And we also have another one, a modified Copilot AI that we've been working with. We're beta testing with Microsoft. These things can come in and be very handy to give you extra knowledge. But sometimes I can even the Copilot one we used, my granddaughter, who's 9, and she's been hacking with me. She's actually hacked a few boxes and things like that and been learning with me. She had a question a while back, a couple months ago, and said, Pepper, can you explain to me a firewall? I just don't understand it. And I sat there and I tried to explain. She goes, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. So I took out the AI and I said to my AI, can you please explain a firewall to my granddaughter, who is 9, in simplest form? I will tell you that I am still at awe at they basically did a network being the castle, the moat in the wall around the castle was a firewall. And she explained it, letting good knights in, stopping dragons from getting in, good knights out, stopping dragons from coming in. It was so well done that my son-in-law, who's 36 years old, he dabbles a little bit in IT. He's in the Air Force. But after that was explained to him, he goes, I know more in 2 minutes from that AI explaining me a firewall than I ever did. I was totally wrong what I thought a firewall does. And he goes, this is amazing. It's tools, and utilize any tool you can get. Now, AI can also be a crutch. Don't let it be a crutch, folks. It's a tool to handle to assist you with. I love it for coding because, like I said, I'm a sloppy typer. Sometimes I've written 4 or 5 hours worth of code, and it stinks when nothing works and you realize that you've got a colon instead of a semicolon somewheres. But I tell you what, AI, it finds it and says, hey, would like me fix this? Sure, go ahead. So, you use it as a tool. AI is fantastic for that.
Awesome. That's a lot. I really enjoyed the part where you talked about your daughter. Oh my God, that's very exciting. All right, so I'll take 2 more questions. So now, as a professional in this field, I believe you also recruit cybersecurity people, professionals. So what's your strategy? What do you look at to hire a cybersecurity professional or a pen tester?
If I'm going to be bringing somebody in for my interviews, what I wind up doing is I look at what they're giving me. Do not give somebody a 3-page resume. Nobody's going to read it. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Nobody's going to read 3 pages. Whatever information you want for the person to see has got to be on that first page, because that's the main thing, especially when you're busy, that you're going to look at. And I'm sure any recruiter is probably going to tell you the same thing. But I overview what they've done, what experience they have, what experience they don't have. Sometimes having a person without experience can be beneficial if you believe that they have the ability to learn what you want to show them. So don't worry always about having a ton of experience unless you're trying to get into, I just had somebody ask me how they could get a foot in the door at NASA. Well, that's a very good, you're going to need a lot of experience. You're not really going to get into any ground level work with them. But don't be afraid to start your jobs off at a lower level than you expect, because it's what happens. But trying to think the best way to summarize what I'm looking for is somebody that's the ability and the willingness to learn and can be open and honest. We usually ask different questions like, what is have you ever had a problem with a coworker that you just can't get along? Well, how do you deal with that? Because when you're working pen testing or you're working red teaming with a small group, you're going to be spending hours upon hours. And let's face facts, not everybody always gets along. And I proudly say I'm Mr. Grumpy. My employees know that coffee is the what keeps me smiling. But we all have our ins and outs, our little quirks. You have to learn to deal with other people. How you deal with other people is how you deal with the situation as well. What happens if you're given a situation? There's another question we ask is, you're given a situation and you cannot fix that. What do you do? Do you know I've actually had people that are interviewing the jobs like, well, I'm not going to tell you that I can't do it. I'm just going to have to keep working the problem. That's not the right answer. If you don't know the answer, please, I am never going to have a problem with an employee that says, guess what, boss? I don't know this. I don't understand what's going on. It is okay to not know something. Please don't think you need to know everything when you're first day one of the job or 10 years into the job. It's not going to happen. Come forward with it, that there's a problem, and let somebody else assist you to learn. So next time you will know how to deal with the issue. Those are big things. Another thing we do is we actually take an easy box and we give an easy box to somebody for a third interview. If it's for cybersecurity, we give a test from Hack the Box. We take a retired machine, and we say, okay, usually there's one about 6. We'll just randomly pick one and say, okay, go ahead. We'll set them all up. Go ahead. Let's see what you can do. I am not looking for somebody to actually solve the CTF, especially because most of the time we'll say, well, let's see how you do in an hour. That does not mean I want you to solve it in an hour. I want to see what skills you have. I want to know that you can enumerate, that you can communicate, that you can take your own notes. Another thing I am terrible at is note taking, but I work on it all the time.
Mhm.
So note taking is crucial, but I want to see what they can go through and what they can do and what happens when there is a problem. Can they think through the issue? Do they have the resources to know how to look things up? Believe it or not, there are many people out there who do not know how to properly use Google. And I'm not saying it, you're not just going for a search. When you're in cybersecurity, if you have not heard about Google dorking and things of that nature, that's what you should research on Google is Google dorking. Learn how to make sure you're asking Google the correct questions, and then do your research. Also, make sure you're getting your research, especially on exploits and vulnerabilities, from a legitimate source. Just because Happy Cat's blog says that you can do this does not mean you can actually do that. Yeah, and it probably also doesn't mean you should. But if you go on to a legitimate company where they've explained out and they have the vulnerabilities listed, that's where you want to get your knowledge. Use legitimate sources. I'm forever telling my employees, you've got a Microsoft problem, stop going on Google. I don't look it up on Google. Go to Microsoft. There's a whole answer section for Microsoft related questions. Go to the company that you're going to deal with. When we tell everybody, interact with those companies that you interact with, go to them first. Then if you can't find it, but having the ability to find answers. And again, when we do these tests, I don't expect you to know it all. If you do solve it, hey, that's fantastic. I respect that. That's awesome. Especially if you've got any experience in doing it, that's what we're looking for. But just having the ability to run the proper scans and have the basic knowledge, that's what I want to know. I want to know you have the basic knowledge and that you can communicate to me when there is a problem. After that, we can teach you a lot of the things. I would rather teach you our methodology for solving problems than, who knows methodology. Sometimes I agree with it. Hey, I learn new tricks all the time, every single day. That's one of the things I push myself is to learn at least 2 new things every single day. That's always my goal. If I can learn 2 new things, I don't care if it's this happened too long ago. Did you know that there's a right way and a wrong way of putting in a trash bag? I did not know this. The simplest thing I've done in my entire life, come to find out at a Home Depot, they were doing a thing. There's actually a right way and a wrong way to putting in a trash bag. Hey, that's knowledge. I'll take it, whether I'm ever going to need it. But I look at on LinkedIn, a lot of times the stuff I'm going through is new exploits that people have developed for vulnerabilities, new bypass techniques, new software, new tools. That's stuff that I always try and brush up on. But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking for in an interview, is somebody that can think outside the box, that can communicate. Having the ability to communicate and deal with issues is going to bring you a long way in cybersecurity. Oh, and you know what? And I will say this also, folks, mental health. And I just told my employees, and we've been going strong and very busy for a while. I'm going to take a week off coming up. It is okay, even if you are a new employee, to say, I've been working for 6 months. I need a day off. Our employees have day offs. We tell people to utilize them. We want your mind fresh. There's nothing the matter with taking a day and unplugging. And I tell you what, that's some of my best days. I turn off my cell phone. Turn off my laptops, and they're everywhere. I turn off every piece of technology, and then I do something fun, whether it be, going out with the wife to go shopping, go out to dinner, just do something that's not work. It is okay to take a day to not work. And some people are like, well, you're the worst at doing that. I am, but it's what I have to strive for. You have to find in cybersecurity the way to get your mind refreshed. Find out what works. Me going to the gym, I love it. I go to the gym, get a good workout in, get some cardio in, lift for a little while, and I'm rejuvenated. But find what works for you, and please make sure you take the time to find something that works for you.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Glenn. All right, so because of our time, I would give the room for on-site questions. So Frida, over to you. You can point out some of the questions.
Okay, Daniel. Thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you very much, Daniel. So some on-site question from Jerry K. He says, as a red team, is there any law governing them? Because they are known as the bad guys. So yeah, that's one question. We only have 2 questions here. So yeah, over to you.
There are different laws that govern what you can and cannot do in the United States. There's also, every country is a little bit different. From the very difficult in China, I actually know some people over that actually live in China. They are pen testers. They are not allowed, when they find a vulnerability, they are not even allowed to directly give it out to the public. They cannot even give it to the business. It has to all go through the government first. So you have got to make sure you know what your country's laws, your state laws, like in the United States, that are different. Basically, a lot of things that you're going to have to worry about is if you're doing physical engagements, you're going to need to know what the laws pertain to that as well. We have a contract whenever we do a vulnerability scan. There's another contract for pen testing. There's another contract for physical test. There's also a 4th contract for physical if we have to go into armed or different areas of that for physical pen testing. You do not want to have your employees, I don't care what anybody says, unless you're on a government team, do not have your guys armed if you're doing a physical test. Even if you have armed guards you're going against, do not have. They're, like I said, we're talking specific little issues, but there are laws that govern everything for everybody. So you just have to figure out what it's going to be. And one of the great, just met a gentleman. He was a lawyer for 2 years. He hated it. He spent all his career going to school for law. Couldn't stand it. But then he realized, you know what? GRC. I love computers. I love cybersecurity, but I already have a legal background. I know what's required for compliance. He is doing fantastic because he knows the laws. So they're a lawyer switching over to cybersecurity. That's a huge, boon for his company because he's all set. He knows the laws. He knows what to do. But yeah, there are different laws. It differs every place. Every state has some laws. The main thing is you cannot, for the most part, you really can't hack legally. You can't run a vulnerability scan on. See, Daniel, everybody knows Daniel. Daniel has his own website, and you're like, well, I want to do a scan on a real website, so you go and scan his website. Daniel might be okay with that, but his service provider is probably going to send him saying, hey, why are all these people running these scans? It's knocking down and interfering with network traffic. Nmap is a very what we call noisy scanner, especially depending on the settings you're using. Some hosting providers may get very upset by that. So then Daniel's going to get a nasty gram, and then he's going to say, wait a minute, I know this guy's IP. That's a friend of mine. He's going to call him and say, why are you doing that to me? Um, Technically, it's illegal. You have to get permission to run scans, to do anything on anything. If you do not have permissions, that's when you're going to have a problem. That's why I say run your simulations, set up your own, cyber ranges, your own VMs to run testing, or you do stuff on Hack the Box. Be very careful. Recently, we had somebody that was just as a joke, they were deauthorizing wireless devices. They'd walk into an area with a jammer and do it. In the United States, jamming and deauthorizing a signal through jamming is illegal. It's a federal offense. You cannot do that. If you get caught, you are looking at 2.5 to 5 years. So you've got to be very careful. Most of the time, yes, you get probation and a fine, but still you're looking at worst case scenario, you could be charged for it. So be careful of what you do. We do a lot of testing and simulations here, but we do it all internally. You don't want to just go out there. Black hatting and gray hacking, you got to be very careful nowadays because there are so many laws on it. So please, I can't even begin to tell you every law in the U.S. and every state. I know a bunch of them, but read up on general laws and what is allowed. Basically, those laws basically set out of scope. Once we were talking about in scope and out of scope, you know that there's certain things you just cannot do. Follow that along because if you want to get say a large contract or a government contract and you've been arrested multiple times for hacking, it's not going to look very good for yourself. You may be a great hacker, but then if you don't have the self-control to do it legally, some companies aren't going to want to give you the chance. I believe in giving everybody a second chance for anything they do, but you still have to be very careful. I've had employees that have been arrested before for hacking. It took a chance and it worked out wonders. I had to take a chance on another one, and 3 days later, I just realized this is not going to work. Even though he promises he's not going to do certain things, he does it. So just be careful is the main thing. Sorry, I can't give you any specifics because, like I said, it's just too broad of a question.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The final question, okay, from PC says, "Hi there. I'm a QA engineer and I want to improve my career. And cybersecurity is a career that I have ventured into. So I've done some courses like pre-certifications course on OSPWHC. I also just finished my master's with a specialization in AI. Can you give me advice on how to improve and gain experience? And also, what can you say about cybersecurity in the future with AI?" So that's the question.
That is the question everybody wants an answer to is cybersecurity with AI in the future. I do not feel right now threatened by AI. I find that it's a great tool, but AI still makes a lot of mistakes, just like humans do. But I know there are people that are already saying the sky's falling, that the coders are going to be replaced, everything else. I really wouldn't worry about that. AI is going to be a tool. Will it get to do a lot more in the future? Yes. If you're working with large language models, you know all about it. There are we've already went over a few different ways to get experience, volunteering, doing things of that, building your own home lab. And don't be afraid to tell an employer that you built your own home lab, but be prepared to elaborate what that entailed. You know, are you using Proxmox, VMs? Are you using, geez, there's so many different things you can do and set up. What firewalls have you worked on? All those things are giving you experience, but you need to be able to communicate that to somebody as well as put it on a piece of paper. Because there's a lot of times people like, I ask them, oh, what was your thought about working on this PF system? And they can't answer. It's like, well, why'd you put it down then if you don't even remember working on it? So just make sure before you go to an interview, once again, that you're prepared for whatever you put on that paper, you should be able to back up. But that's your experience realms on there. I tell you what, I believe that AI is a huge, like I said, I keep saying it's a tool. That's what it is. Learn more about it. It is going to be, and it already is, its own field. They're starting to call it the gold teams, the people that are working with AIs, because it can do a lot. It can do a lot of damage. It can be a lot of help. So it's all how an AI is programmed. So my hat's off to you. If you've got working with the AIs that we work with, they give me a headache. I love them, but they give me a headache. So it's not my thing, and I have no problem saying it. It takes me, it's a little harder for me to understand some of those things, but we make do. Right now we have my interoffice. We have our own local AI. It combines 3 separate AIs into one, and then we load in new material all the time. We don't allow it access outside of the network or to the internet, so that way we only feed it. It is a non-handicapped AI, meaning I can say, I am hacking this machine here, and this is what I'm running into. Tell me how to defeat it. And that's its job. That's what we're training it to do. It's there to assist our red teamers. We have one access for red teamers. We have one red access. Well, actually, any security, cybersecurity, we've got our own access to it. Then the techs have another access to it, which is fantastic for them. They can, ask you different questions, and they've got a problem with QuickBooks. They got a problem with Microsoft. They can ask this question. It's been fed up all that information, but it is non-limited. Where a lot of people are like, well, I tried using ChatGPT, but it doesn't really work. Yeah, it's limitations and handicaps, but that is for security reasons. That's the reason why our internal AI is not accessible from the outside. But kudos for anybody working in AI. That is a great skill to learn.
Okay. Thank you very much, Glenn. So thank you. So I hope your question was answered. So one final question. We're also streaming on YouTube, and we have a question from someone on YouTube. It's actually 2 questions in one. Firstly, he says, would you advise a pen tester to also learn coding, and is it necessary for it? And his second question is, for a while, he has been seeing lots of texts and calls about people misplacing their phones with no means of tracking it. Are there tools for that yet? So over to you. That's our final question for the session.
Okay. First question. You threw me off by that second question. What was the first one again? It was
okay. Sorry, the first one. Would you advise a pen tester to learn coding, and is it necessary for that?
Yes, actually, I think we touched on that already. I believe as a pen tester, especially if you want to go into app development and looking for malware, coding is, I think it's beneficial. Python especially, Bash coding, Rust, Go, things of that nature. Those are some skills that really are important if you are really want to get into cybersecurity and be a red teamer. Do you have to have it? No. But I tell you what, if you don't have it, you are handicapping yourself. And nobody wants to be called a script kiddie. But if you can't write the scripts and you can only use scripts, yeah, that's the level you're on. You're a script kiddie, and you'll always be in cybersecurity as a script kiddie. Being able to learn code is going to advance yourself. So if you want to start on the bottom, that's great. But if you want to get all the way up in roles instead of just being a junior apprentice or a junior, person in a SOC, and you want to get up, you want to learn some coding. That is fantastic. On the second one, there are a lot of different apps that you can find phones with. I'm confused by that one because unless they're not allowed everywhere, most phones, we've actually done it for a few people. We've actually found their phones.
All right, Glenn, sorry, I think he's talking about maybe some tools you can access through Kali, right, on the terminal. So are there tools that you can probably look up their IP address and geolocation stuff? I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah, I mean, there's tools in Cali. There's a few others. It's something tracer. As long as you know the last IP or the phone number,
Yeah.
if you can get the EIN number, you
Mhm.
can do quite a bit of tracking with some of the tools that are available out to you. But do yourself a favor. I don't care if you're tracking a tool for a friend of yours, you make sure that they have okayed you to do that. Because
Mhm.
tracking somebody's phone in some states here in the US is illegal unless you are law enforcement. Other states in the US, you can, private investigators, people can do it themselves. It's not a problem. Protect yourself. Always get permission when you're doing it. But yeah, there's several different tools out there in Cali. What's that? Shishugi. He has there's a couple different tools in that one too. But there are tools out there to assist in doing that. And it all depends on what you have for the information. Uh, Phone numbers can get you so much. Last known IPs can get you so much. If they've got a Bluetooth signal that's bouncing, there may be a way to find out from the Bluetooth signal. There's different avenues you can go on that.
All right.
Here, actually, funny,
Okay, so
we going with the phone before we go off from it. Phones can actually, as a red teamer, phones can be very beneficial for your work. We had one about 2 years ago. I was out on an engagement. Now, unfortunately, the business knew and told their employees that was going to be one of 2 weeks that they were going to be getting checked on and having a review done on them, a cybersecurity review. So we went out there on day 2. I'm still not finding anything. I'm like, wow, they've got it locked down. It was a cell phone that was on company Wi-Fi that had its internal hotspot open with no password, which allowed me to get into the entire system.
Oh my God.
So phones can be a danger as well as a help, depending upon how you look at it. But as an adversary, I was like, oh yes, this is gold, and I was able to get right into the comptroller's desk and get the file that I needed. And it took a while, but that was the opening. It was all we needed was somebody to have a cell phone that was connected to the company Wi-Fi, that they had their own internal hotspot on, probably for something as simple as, as a parent and grandparent, sometimes the kids, all these tablets, they need internet. So you share your Wi-Fi from your phone to the kids and they forgot to turn it off. That's all it takes. Red teamers, we need one little instance to get in. Blue teamers, that's why I call them the smartest people in the business. They have to be prepared for everything. My hat is always off to a blue teamer because they just well prepared and so much knowledge that they have.
okay. Thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you so much, Daniel. This has been a very, very insightful session.
Good.
We can't really hear you.
Right? We explored different roles of cybersecurity. Talk about how the red. Oh my.
Sorry, can you hear again?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
No.
It keeps cutting in and out.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Oh my. You can hear me now. Okay, I'll be very fast before my network does that again. Okay, so I'll just give. Can you still hear me before I continue? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So he spoke about the red team, how they use creativity and ethical hacking skills to test system vulnerabilities, and he spoke about how the blue team focuses on defense using vigilance, analytical thinking, and resilience to protect against attack.
Must be
Oh,
limited
yeah,
access on the internet. It's lagging. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, the network here in Nigeria is not really good. It's very shaky.
Spoke about
But
some
yeah,
tools
let
that both sides and spoke about how continuously on some challenges that. Can you hear me? Oh my, sorry, can you hear me?
oh,
Can you hear me?
You're back now. Yes. You went out for a
Oh
little
my,
bit.
oh my goodness, oh, my network. I'm so sorry. Pardon me. It's not my fault. Factors
That's all
beyond my
right.
control. Yeah, he also spoke on some certifications that the both teams would need, like computer security, CEH, and CISSP, and how they should also try to capture the flags competitions. So yes, in that note, I think we would go into the picture session. Again, thank you very much, Glenn, for this wonderful webinar, wonderful insights you have given. So right now we're going to go into a picture session. So for this session, we'd like everyone to turn on their cameras and give a big smile. You're happy to be here. Show that you're happy to be here. So yeah. So Daniel, whenever you're ready. So Daniel will
yeah.
give the go ahead.
Yeah. So I would love everyone to turn on their cameras now for a brief photo session. Let's see your face, please, just for a brief photo session. I don't know, should I call out names? Okay, thank you. Jerry, yeah, Priscilla, Adewumi, Gold, John Il, I'm sorry for that. Michael, Damilola, John, can you guys just turn on your camera? Just for a brief photo session. All right, okay. I'm still waiting for um Damilola. I'm waiting for John, Bright, and Chao Chan. I'm sorry. All right. I guess okay. Some people are trying to join the call. Let's give 1 more minute. So kindly turn on your cameras. All right. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. So if you are just joining us, it's time for the photo session. So kindly turn on your cameras for a brief photo session. We have Honor, we have Esther. Kindly turn on your cameras for a brief photo session.
Okay. Just leave.
I mean, we are all happy to be here, so why we not turning our cameras? Okay, Esther and Honor, would you guys be turning your cameras? All right, I guess waste no time. Okay, I see Esther. All right. All right, thank you everyone. You can turn off your cameras now if you want to do that, but it's fine if you turn it on. Um, Thank you very much, Glenn. This was an awesome session. I mean, I learned a lot. You know what I like about you? I like the fact that, from your range of experience, you break things down, and I learned a lot. Honestly, it's a lot for me, and I know everyone also learned a lot. So, this session was streamed on YouTube, so you can always go back to watch the recording, and also snippets would also be shared on LinkedIn too. So right about now, I would share my screen. As I told everyone, this is the community, and every month we have guest speakers just like Glenn that would always come in to speak to us. So I will share my screen and I will show us something very brief. All right, just give me a minute. All right. I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So for April, right, we'll have someone with us. The theme for April is think like a hacker, lead like a boss. Think like a hacker, lead like a boss, right? So this person is a senior manager at one of the companies, one of the big companies in the US, right? So we're also going to learn a lot from this person. Is 26th of April, 4 p.m. WAT, 11 p.m. East African time, and I'm sure you don't want to miss it. If you are not on the community, kindly join. The link is in my bio on LinkedIn. All right. With that being said, I don't know if there are any final remarks from you, Glenn, before we call the battle, because you definitely won. I didn't even. Right. So, any final remarks? Any final words from you, Glenn?
No, I was just messaging back to Jerry. Make sure, yes, Jerry, if you're doing financial institution, there's a whole set of different laws here in the US, and I'm sure all that is covered underneath your pen testing contracts. You have to have a contract for any time you're pen testing, just to, we call it CYA, cover your butt, basically. You want to make sure you're always protected. Even if they verbally give you the okay, get something like that, you need to have it on in writing so that way you're protected. That's your kind of your get out of jail free card, just in case you're doing a pen testing and wind up getting arrested for it. So you don't want to deal with those headaches. Always have that paperwork ready for yourself.
All right. Thank you very much, Glenn. So, if you would love to, hack the box, try hacking me. I think Glenn has a team. Can you, yeah, just let us know about that for those that will be interested.
Yes, we have through Hack the Box, we have, it's called ISP 1337 Hackers, which the code, I'm sure you guys all know, 1337 means elite. So it's our elite hackers group. We accept everybody from newbies all the way up to experience. It doesn't matter to us. We're there about learning. We have a Discord channel. While we're doing hacking sessions, we're usually on Discord as well to assist you, whether it be through voice, video, whatever. We're always on standby, the team captains and myself, as well as many, many others. There's some fantastic people on the team. So we compete as a
All
team.
right.
Right now, we just finished Hackfinity Battle, which was on Try Hack Me. It was a week long last week. And then we had just started yesterday, Cyber Apocalypse CTF. That one is a little bit more and does have prizes, which we split between all team members if we get prizes, whoever competes. So we have a lot of fun. Joke around. I will say that sometimes our language is not always nice and appropriate, but we try. Um, we can be, there's a bunch of us there that are old military, and that's what I'm gonna blame it on, is my military mouth. Um, but yeah, you're always more than welcome to join the team. Join on Hack the Box and try Hack Me. Like I said, we go out to different competitions as well. We'll compete everything from OSINT challenging competitions to regular hacking competitions. If you're not used to what a regular CTF is like, you want to try the Hack the Box challenges. That's what majority of your systems are going to be for CTFs. It's not going to be hacking the machines and things like that. Not that saying there won't be some, it's not usually the primary. Challenge is going to give you the best idea of what it's like to work on those. But our teams we have a lot of fun. Right now, I think we're 12th place. We keep bouncing between 10th place and 12th place for our team. So we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm had a couple busy weeks, so I'm actually bumped into 3rd place in the US, but I held 1st place for almost 8 months, so I'm okay with that.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Glenn. Someone raised up his hand. I can't see him. Okay, yes. Samuel, please, your questions, you can send your questions over to the community and I will do well to ask Glenn. We are on a time crunch and we need to round off now. All right. So thank you very much, Glenn. For my team and I, we really appreciate you and we thank you for taking our time to, share a bit of your experience with us. Thank you very much. To every
That
other
was an
person
honor.
that joined for everyone that joined this call, thank you very much for taking your time. Thank you, Go. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Adeomi. Thank you, John. Thank you, Honor. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Like I said, you can follow Gleen on LinkedIn. I also on LinkedIn and Frida also on LinkedIn. And we'll do well to, accept your connection request. Thank you, everyone, once again. It's an honor meeting everyone new. And I'll see you this same 26th of April by the same time. See you guys next month.
Thank you.
Bye.